I'm all shook up.
Hey guys, welcome to the All Shook Up podcast, and on today's episode, I will be interviewing special guest Aidan Keene. Thank you for joining and wanting
Thank
to
you
be a
for
part
having
of the
me.
podcast. Of course. So, let's get started.
All right.
So, how many years have you been an Elvis tribute artist?
Professionally, I've been doing it for about 2.5 years now,
Okay.
but I've been singing Elvis since I was 3 or 4, and so about
Aw.
almost 20 years.
Wow. So, how did you discover Elvis?
I credit my dad on that one. So when I was about 2 or 3, when I really started to understand music, I was a very big fan of the children's group The Wiggles.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad eventually, after bringing me to several Wiggles concerts and everything, I think he got kind of sick of it, and he gave me my first Elvis CD, and it was from there on that
Oh,
I loved it. So
that's awesome. So, is that what kind of inspired you to become an Elvis tribute artist?
no, so I actually didn't think about even doing anything like that until well, I really didn't take it seriously until early in my teens. But um, my first Elvis tribute show was in 2009. I was 4 years old,
Oh, wow.
and it was Leo Days and Doug Church.
Wow. What an
They were
awesome people to go see for your first concert.
absolutely, and so that really inspired me, and that's when I realized it was an actual profession. And Doug and I just did a show together last week
Oh,
at the same
wow.
theater that I saw him in for the first time when I was
Oh
four
my
years old. So
gosh. That's awesome.
very full circle, but that
Yeah.
was to answer your question. I didn't start thinking about it until much later.
Okay. So, a little bit about performing. What was your first Elvis performance like?
My first professional Elvis performance was I'm trying to think, because when I started out performing in public, it wasn't just Elvis. I do a bunch of other stuff too, so it was just an
Okay.
oldies variety show I was doing in a nursing home. But my first show that was just Elvis, I think, was when I put my band together. We kind of debuted our Elvis tribute show locally, and I think that might have been the first time just doing Elvis
Wow.
in 2024, early 2024, and it was quite the experience. I was in a cheap Amazon jumpsuit at the time because I just had gotten out of high school and I couldn't afford anything else, and so that was kind of cheesy, but it's definitely strengthened since then and become more of a professional thing.
Wow. So, what is it like for you getting ready for an event?
Uh, a lot of nerves, a lot of nerves. Even if especially if it's a small crowd. I don't do well with small crowds. I think it's much more intimidating, but getting ready is, I don't, my girlfriend does my own makeup because if I did it, it wouldn't look right. And so she helps me out with that. And I don't really warm up a whole lot, which I probably should, but I don't. Um, it's just getting my head in the game, and I'm one of those guys that is peeking out from backstage the whole time before the show
Mm-hmm.
starts, just so I can get a feel for the crowd. But just a lot of nerves. The stage nerves really don't go away until I'm out on stage. But not a whole lot. I don't really have a real pre-show routine.
Okay.
Uh,
But so, like, how do you handle the nerves then?
it's a weird thing. I don't I don't really handle them. I go out on stage and I just let the music take over, and I'm known to ham it up with the crowd quite a bit. I wouldn't call myself a flirt, but you got to engage with
Right.
especially the ladies at an Elvis show. But crowds always help for them. Usually they're usually very supportive, and their support carries me through and kind of puts to rest those nerves for a couple hours.
Okay. So, what is your favorite era to perform?
It used to be the 50s.
Okay.
When I first started out, it was the 50s, and it's just all the fun rockabilly songs, and it doesn't take a whole lot to do. I mean, energy wise, it can when you're doing the moves. But last summer, when I was doing one of my shows, I actually I dislocated my kneecap
Oh my
during a show,
gosh.
and I was doing the '70s stuff in that show, but I have found that since then, physically, I struggle with the '50s stuff now. Because I now have a bad knee and it's hard for me to do, the pinwheel move and all the
Right.
other things that are classic '50s things. So since then, I've kind of gone into more 1969, 1970. That's the way it is.
Okay.
Early Vegas stuff, and it's good. And '68's a lot of fun too.
What's your favorite song to perform on stage?
My favorite song to perform. There's two.
Okay.
And I don't think I could choose, but one of them is more of a recent one, and it's Oh Happy Day. I've just started doing Oh Happy Day ever since the Epic movie came out.
Yes.
And the people love it, and I love it because it's just so soulful and it's fun. But before that, and still, it's My Boy.
Okay.
Because that is probably my favorite Elvis song of all time, and to sing it, and looking at the reactions and some of the people that have never heard that song before, I love it. It's priceless because it's such a beautiful song.
It is. So, what would you say the hardest song to perform for you is?
Hardest song. That kind of depends on the night. There's some nights, I always try to do American Trilogy in my shows, but there's some nights where I get to that part of the show and I'm just like, oh God, here we go. But the two that I find the most challenging that I don't do very often are Hurt and Surrender.
Yeah. I can.
Well, and Rags to Riches too. That's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Surrender, it just, yes, exactly.
So, what do you love most about your shows?
The audience.
Any reason
getting to
why,
meet people and just getting to talk to them, and there's so many. I can't even tell you the amount of times that people come up to me afterwards who saw Elvis, who just, yeah, and you never know if they're saying it just to be nice or not. But when you hear the words, I saw Elvis in concert, and you were the closest I heard. I felt good. I was doing a show with Doug Church last week, and a couple of people came up to me and just said, we closed our eyes and we heard Elvis when you were singing, and it was that's the ultimate compliment for me. But getting to meet people, I've met several people who served in the Army with Elvis, which is very cool.
Wow.
And so always the audience.
Yeah. So some fun questions is, what is the weirdest song you've ever been requested to sing?
The weirdest song. Well, it's not really a weird song per se, but the one request that I think surprised me the most that I got a couple times in one night was Wooden Heart from the GI Blues soundtrack. And I'll do it happily because I love that song, but it's not one that I typically do. Because if it were up to me, which it's not, because it's always up to the fans. But if it were up to me, I would do shows with a bunch of deep cuts in it because I just love some of the stuff that you don't hear.
Right.
I know that Dwight Eisenhower does the Other Side of the Tracks is the name of that show, and they just do other bunch of B-sides and things. But I don't get to do a whole lot of those because if I only have an hour or two, they want to hear the hits.
Right.
But if they ask for them, like Wooden Heart, I'll definitely do them. Another one that was kind of strange was also off GI Blues, Did You Ever? And so I made my band learn that song. The amount of times they threatened to quit after I did that to them.
Oh my gosh.
was unprecedented. But we did do it live one time.
Wow. So where has been your favorite place to perform so far?
The show with Doug last week, the Regent Theater in Arlington, Massachusetts, because that was the place where I saw them for the first time. Yeah. That was really where my admiration for ETAs kicked off. And I think my second place would be the Turning Stone Casino in New York. I competed one time. I did one competition for the Images of the King Festival.
Okay.
Or the Empire State Tribute Festival. And I'm just going to be blunt. I hated competing.
Really?
I could not. I'm not a competitive person. I did that because one of my ETA friends really encouraged me to do it, just to network and to meet people and
Mhm.
everything, which was my favorite part of the whole thing. But I'm not competitive, so I don't see myself competing anymore. But performing there was really cool. You know,
Okay.
with all the headliners, Dwight Eisenhower and Robert Washington and Dan Barella, the legendary Dan Barella. So getting to meet them was really cool.
Yeah. So, is there a dream venue or event you would like to perform at one day?
I don't know. I mean, it was kind of a dream come true to play the Regent Theater stage, but I think because where I'm set apart from a lot of the ETAs is I don't know how this is going to come across, but I don't really have much of a desire to be an ultimate
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. It's not really a title that I'm looking for, and I have all the respect in the world for the ultimates. So
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong. Um, it's just not, like I said, I'm not competitive, so to me, it's not worth competing for. I think we have the greatest job in the world, no matter what title you have. Um, but with that being said, to somehow be able to play at Graceland would be a dream come true. The soundstage over there, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you kind of have to either be in the competition or very well known to do that. But
Right.
you never know.
Have you ever been to Elvis Week? Or
I haven't gone to Elvis Week, but I've gone to Graceland a couple times, and we were out there for Ultimate Weekend.
okay.
Um, Elvis Week is definitely on the bucket list, but I have to learn how to deal with the heat first.
Yeah. yeah.
Memphis in August, I'm not sure
Mm.
how that would be.
So, do you have a favorite Elvis movie?
Yes, my favorite Elvis movie is Blue Hawaii, and it's probably one of the cheesiest Elvis movies, but it's so cheesy that it's so awesome, and
Yeah.
you can't ever be down when you're watching that movie.
Right. So, do you have a favorite Elvis album?
Yes, and I would say it's probably an unpopular opinion, but my favorite Elvis album is Good Times, 1974. I mean, it's got My Boy, and if that isn't love, She Wears My Ring, all those songs. I think his voice was just in top form
Yes.
in around that era.
So, have you been to Graceland?
Yeah, twice.
What was it like for you going in for your first time?
The first time was unforgettable. That was Ultimate Weekend.
Okay.
And I went out with my dad, who obviously, like I said, got me into Elvis. So it was really special having him there. And we stayed at the guest house, which in itself was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But being there with those shows, seeing the shows, we saw two of them, and hearing that music there was just, it hit different.
Mm-hmm.
It really did it. And just being in the house, and it was unbelievable. This last time we went in March, we drove 20 hours
Oh my gosh.
from Massachusetts. I know my buddy Jackson Ducharme did the same thing. He drove out there, but it was worth it. It was worth
Yeah.
it. It was a good trip, but it's just I've been to Disney World too, and I always say Graceland is just, it's more magical for me.
Mm-hmm. So, what is your favorite Elvis jumpsuit or outfit?
I love the gold lame, but I hate wearing it on stage because it's like 20 pounds and
Oh my gosh.
it's so hot. But my favorite jumpsuit is the American Eagle, not the Aloha one, rather the 1974 one, I believe it was. I don't know why I love that jumpsuit so much, and I don't wear those jumpsuits because I'm not very slim. So I don't wear, finding jumpsuits that look right on me can be a challenge. So like I said, the 1970, 1969 stuff works out great.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I've been wearing the fringe a lot, the fringe jumpsuit a lot, but I do a lot of two pieces as well from 1972 Vegas engagement.
Mm-hmm.
But the Eagle, yeah, it's one of my favorite.
Okay. So, what is your favorite thing other than the fans about being ETA?
Well, the brotherhood, the fraternity has been unbelievable. People that I looked up to as a kid watching ETAs are now my friends that I keep in touch with on a regular basis, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think just being able to perform the music being able to perform the music. I mean, that's such a gift. I mean, not everyone can say that they can get to do that, and
Right.
that's what I do. It's my full-time work, and I'm so beyond blessed and lucky. I just finished 15 shows in just over 2 weeks, and they were all
Oh
Elvis shows, and
gosh.
I wouldn't want to do anything else.
That's amazing though.
Very busy week. That's why, pardon the time off beard, I'm in vacation mode, and
If you could perform one Elvis song for the rest of your career, what would it be?
I would say My Boy, but I think on a perfect vocal day where nothing goes wrong, I would say American Trilogy, just because it's a special song, and it always hits people pretty emotionally.
Mm-hmm. And then finishing up here, if you could ask Elvis one thing or tell him one thing, what would it be?
Well, if I could tell him one thing, it would be thank you for everything, which I think everybody probably says that. But I would lean away from the, performance aspect, and something. Sorry, I'm long-winded with my answers, but
You're
one of the
good.
things that I also host a podcast as well, and I got to talk to Elvis's hairdresser and spiritual guide, Larry Geller,
That's awesome.
and I really didn't say much. I kind of just sat there for an hour and let Larry tell his story, but I didn't have to. There was nothing I could have added to that anyway. But Elvis was certainly a seeker and a searcher for truth and faith. And I asked Larry, when Elvis passed, do you believe that he was at peace spiritually? And Larry said yes. So my question to Elvis would be, what? Just I heard it from Larry, but to hear it from Elvis,
Mm-hmm.
You've had all the fame in the world, you could have all the money in the world, you have these planes and the cars. What is it that you're searching for that the fame couldn't bring you? What are you really looking for in your life that would bring you peace and joy that's not music related or business related? Because
Right.
I think that if Elvis could have stepped away from the business for a while, just to kind of be on the faithful journey and pilgrimage, I think he would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't have time to do it.
Wow.
But that's what I would ask him, because I'd be very interested in that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is all I have. So
All right.
thank you so much for joining and being a part of the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.